right. My name is Timothy Carruthers. I've been sober for 232 days. Today is June 16th, 2024. It's my wife's birthday. This check-in is from 12/11/23. It says investigate what triggers you. Your triggers highlight what inside of you needs exploring and healing. Unknown. Name substance of choice and a fun fact about yourself that you want others to know. My name is Timothy. My substance of choice is cocaine, weed, alcohol. I'm very confident and determined. Stress level 0 to 1, craving level 0 to 1. It was pretty bad for a while. I actually really wanted to drink the other day, but found out that one of my buddies that we grew up with passed away from fentanyl, so that made me not want to. And I've been feeling pretty good this week. If I had to narrow down my biggest trigger in one word, what would it be and why? I put stress because I always use it as an excuse. If I had to narrow it down now, I would just say addiction, the chemical thick. What has been my biggest barrier to lasting sobriety? Not talking to people I used to hang out with when I would drink and drug. So I cut off a lot of my friends and people I used to use with. Obviously I don't hang out and do the same things. Who has been my biggest support in my recovery? What has been my biggest adversity in my recovery? My wife and my mom have been the biggest support. And adversity in recovery is isolation, which is also my biggest tool. Because my first 2 weeks I was sober, I was by myself. I mean, besides going to the meetings, so I really wasn't by myself, but I was, as far as like isolation. I wasn't talking, hanging out with anybody, so that was I guess it was a bad thing, but it's a good thing also that let me know that, I could do that on my own and shit. I don't need to have like a bunch of people around cheering me on, I could just do it for myself, because that's the biggest reason. If you're not ready to do it for yourself, you're always putting it on for somebody else. It's never gonna work. You really gotta want it. What do I need to take personal responsibility for my recovery that I haven't before? To admit that I have a problem and I cannot solve it alone. So yeah, that kind of goes back to what I just said as far as like, the isolation thing, but like, knowing that I had people to talk to in AA and NA, my wife and my mom. I'm still working on my step 8. I'm almost on 8 months of recovery. I got 10 more days. What else? Since October, I've gained like 30 pounds. So this is like the first time in my life I've ever been 200. And I got a plan to start cutting weight and stuff. But, I don't know why I like doing things on days that align in numerical or alphabetical order. So I think I'm gonna wait till I'm at 234 days before I really start getting into it. I also gotta quit smoking and stuff. That's been hard because that's my one thing that helps me most. Not wanna drink and drug, Besides that, I put my 2 weeks for Papa John, so I'm gonna be only working one job. My wife has a job now, so I don't need to burn myself out anymore. So that's probably gonna help a lot. What else? There's something else I wanted to say. Can't think of it. You know, I'm a little tired. We're both jobs again today, but I only got 2 more weeks of that, and then I don't gotta worry about it anymore. Honestly, I like Papa John's as far as like the people I work with, but the job doesn't really pay that much for the amount of work that I do, so it's really a unnecessary stress I have in my life right now. And you know, I just try not to stress myself out. Our daughter just turned 9. Everything's been going pretty good, you know. I don't have any complaints. I mean, besides, you know, find out my friend passed away. Actually passed away in January. We didn't find out until the other day. And you know, that fentanyl's no joke, man. I don't care who you are. If you've been doing heroin or you used to do a lot of stuff. I used to do a lot of drugs, you know what I mean? Like, I would just, if I got a bag of coke, I would do the whole shit in like one go. Like a 0.5 or a gram, it's like a line. You know what I mean? That's one line. So if I thought the same thing, you know, I do drugs, doing shrooms and drinking and doing coke and doing all that shit, smoking weed, doing all that shit at the same time, you know, never thinking it would affect me. I remember the first time I got arrested, you know, I did duster, meth, Klonopin, drank, smoked weed. I did a whole bunch of shit, you know, and I didn't have any like really big adverse reactions besides being a jackass and getting arrested. But you know, back in September, I did that coke and it was laced with that fentanyl, and I almost died. So, and I don't feel like I did the biggest amount I've ever done in my life, but just the fact that it had that fentanyl in it almost did me in. So, you know, stay away from that shit. You know, just stay away from drugs in general, but really stay away from that fentanyl. You know, if you have to do drugs and there's like no way you could stop, like, I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, I really do know. But it gets to a point where you gotta realize that nothing's gonna fill that hole. Nothing's ever gonna fill that hole. And there's so much more stuff you could do with your life besides getting drunk, getting high, you know, cross-faded, whatever, that's what we used to call it. But it does nothing. I mean, you waste money, you put yourself in a predicament where you can't pay your bills, then you're more stressed out, so you want to do more drugs, waste more money, you know. Or you get to that point where you've lost everything and maybe you're out in the streets and you're like, fuck it, I got nothing. You know, you might be begging for money, and then whatever money you do make, you fucking pick up and you just do drugs back in your tent or whatever the case is. People that sell drugs to people like that, they need to be